reminded like the beginning scene of like Criminal Minds or something, you know? Like when somebody's tied up and they're trying to get out, and then all of a sudden the screaming got really, really loud and really intense.
Alton, Illinois. A man can be seen on CCTV just after midnight coming out of a house, carrying a white laundry basket down a quiet street. He walks behind a smoke shop, then disappears from view. At the time, no one knew what was inside the basket. It wouldn't be until the next day when a construction worker finds something disturbing.
I take them to the dumpster. So when I took them to the dumpster, there's a lot of clothes and shit in there, all strode all over, laundry basket, and there was a couple pair of shoes. There was shoes with some slipper shoes too. Slipper shoes. Okay. They was red. They had blood on them. They all look like female shit. For real though. Male shit too.
Female and male clothes?
Yeah.
Okay.
The next day, around 1 p.m., this mother, Heidi Noel, arrives at her daughter, Liese Dodd's apartment. Lisa is 22 and currently 8 months pregnant. Heidi hasn't heard from her in over 15 hours since the night before. Something feels off. She lets herself in. 2 minutes later, other residents can be seen opening the door. Heidi steps back outside, visibly shaking. The neighbors' expressions say everything. And then Heidi makes a chilling 911 call.
911 with the address of...
Yeah. Hi. Listen.
What's going on?
My girlfriend's daughter is killed. Yeah.
What's going on there?
My girlfriend, I'm sorry, my daughter's, she chopped her head off.
Police arrive shortly after and discover the lifeless body of Lisa.
Got a message from her last night.
What was the last time? What time did you last hear from her?
It was like 9:05 or so. I had sent her a text, and she said they were talking. And then I tried again at 10, and she didn't answer. And then I tried this morning 2 times, and she didn't answer. And so then I came over here because she usually answers.
Okay. So last time we talked to her was last night when she sent your text message, right?
Yes.
Okay. The officers are coming. They'll be there shortly, okay? Okay. Okay.
First responders are dispatched at 12:59 p.m. and they arrive to find Heidi still sitting on the steps, crying.
Where we going on?
Apartment 4.
Is anybody else here?
No, I didn't see it.
You have a key to get in? Right here. This one. Do you have the key?
Oh, I'm sorry.
She gives them the code to enter the apartment building, and though they know what they're going to find, it never gets any easier.
Evan, watch the rear.
Lisa's apartment is on the 2nd floor. The door is unlocked. They discover her body in her bedroom. At least they think it's her body. Her head appears to be wrapped in a towel like a turban, but underneath the turban, her head is gone. It's been cut off.
She wasn't kidding. Can we go sit on these front porch steps though? Okay.
Well, I don't want to bother those people.
You know what? I'll tell them.
My car.
I'll tell them to go away, okay?
It's okay.
Well, I just... Sir? Apartment 4 upstairs to the right.
Oh my God.
Here, let's...
Oh God, Lisa, why didn't you listen?
Take some big deep breaths for me, okay?
And then I touched her, and she was cold, and so then I wanted to make sure that he just strangled her, and then there wasn't a head. Please find her head.
No one else is in the apartment. There's no sign of a murder weapon, and there's no sign of Lisa's head either. Her killer must have disposed of it elsewhere. Not only has Lisa been murdered, but her body has been desecrated, and this peaceful neighborhood has been torn apart.
They let us know that somebody was found dead next door. To have to lose a child that way, and that baby is an extension of her mother and the rest of her family, so they lost a child as well. They lost two.
So how did we get here? What happened to lead this young woman who had her whole life ahead of her and was soon to be a mother to such a horrible end? To understand how this crime unfolded, you'll need to go back 24 hours. We find Lisa just living her life, looking forward to her future ahead. Here she is on her porch at just before 2 p.m. on June 8th, scrolling on her phone and looking out at the lawn. In 10 hours, she'll be dead. Liese Dodd was born in Alton, Madison County on August 14, 1999. She was a bright and enthusiastic child with a particular love for animals. For her 10th birthday, instead of receiving presents, she opted to organize a fundraiser for Riverbend Humane Society, a local no-kill animal shelter in Jerseyville. She continued to have a caring attitude throughout her teenage years. She graduated from Jersey Community High School in 2017 and started to work at Dairy Queen, where customers remember her as a vibrant and friendly server. But she wasn't just in it because she enjoyed socializing with her customers. She was saving up to realize her ambitions of going into the medical field, like her mom before her. In June 2022, she was also 8 months pregnant. The baby was going to be a girl.
I had just sent out invitations prior Saturday for the baby shower. We were just excited and kind of gathering the items you need to have a baby.
Lisa hadn't yet decided on a name for her baby. The family were just calling it Baby Bean, and they were looking forward to the birth and everything that would come afterwards.
She was just a loving soul, just a beautiful soul. And I just wish she would have known how loved she was. You know, that she wouldn't have ever been alone, that she could have gotten out of this relationship and had a full life.
Lisa was in an on-again, off-again relationship with a man named Deundrea Holloway, another Illinois native. Deundrea is the same age as Lisa. It's unclear how they met, but they've been seeing each other for a while, nearly 2 years. Deundrea also has some issues. He uses substances, and he's had a difficult home life, according to his half-sister, PJ.
How long has he not lived there?
He moved out when he was about 18.
And how old is he now?
21.
Okay. Where did he go when he moved out?
I'm not sure.
Okay. What do you know about Deundrea's life currently, like about like his relationship status and things like that, and where he lives and things like that?
He lives pretty much with everybody. He lives with his girlfriend, but whenever they get into it, he hops in different people's homes.
He's also taken Lisa with him on this shiftless lifestyle in the past. At one point, according to her old boss at Dairy Queen, the couple were homeless, living in a tent by Lake Litchfield.
I think she was making up a story, okay. And then she finally did tell me that she had some problems with her boyfriend, was hitting her, and they were actually homeless and were living out at the campground at the lake.
At the start of 2022, they'd moved into the apartment building in Alton, but things weren't going well between the couple.
She had a lot of personal problems with a boyfriend, a lot of calling off. She had a lot of black eyes when she would come in. When she first started, she would make excuses that her dog had jumped up and hit her and caused her black eyes. She was constantly running late, for personal reasons. Always something coming up. She had a lot of black eyes, a lot of bruising on her arms, where you could see, maybe grabbing. Okay. That kind of thing.
Lisa's boss once even witnessed one of these altercations.
What specifically did you see when the day you actually witnessed her being battered? What did you see?
A punch in the face.
You saw Mr. Holloway punch her?
Face,
okay. So were they in the car when that happened, or were they outside the car?
No, they were in the car, and we have cameras on the back of the building. We actually tried to roll the cameras back, but they're not very good definition, so we weren't able to actually see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was he in the driver's seat?
Yes, he was.
Okay. And did she return to work after that happened?
She did.
And did you see any? Did she have any visible injuries on that occasion?
Her face was red.
Okay. And did she say anything, or was she confronted about that?
I asked her about it, and she said they had gotten in an argument. Eventually, after the excuses about the dog and things like that stopped, she was honest about it and just said that they were always arguing and fighting, and then they would make up and it would happen again.
Okay. Did she, like, specifically that day when she was struck? Was there any conversation, like, after the fact when she comes back into work about the police or?
I wanted to call the police, and she did not want to do that.
Okay.
On one occasion, in July 2021, Lisa landed in the hospital after Deundrea apparently broke her nose and gave her 2 black eyes. They'd also been seen arguing on the street in the past, and following one such argument, a witness saw Deundrea punching himself in the face, as if to punish himself. It got bad to the extent that in September 2021, she texted her boss.
My boyfriend beat me again, and I had to go to my mom's. They're wanting me to stay in a safe place because he's threatened before to harm us. Is there any way I could get my shift for tomorrow covered until things settle down a little? I can work the rest of the week. We're just trying to make place to stay safe.
This didn't last, however. Lisa and Deundrea were back together soon enough. In May, Deundrea introduced Lisa to his half-sister, PJ. According to her, Deundrea was the father of Lisa's baby.
So you can tell she's pregnant?
Yes.
And I know this is a dumb question. Like, did he say that it was his?
Yes. They both did, yeah.
And, like whenever they fight, what does he do? Like, where does he go?
He just takes off, and nobody knows where he goes.
Do you know that they fight a lot before? Or?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
He told me.
He'd been texting a friend about his poor mental state. On June 5th, just after midnight, he wrote, "I feel like it's all the emotions I've ever put to the side, just coming out now at once for real. My cup filled up, and now it's got to spill over. I don't know how to healthfully let out emotions without snapping or crying because I'm too pissed to talk." He also wrote, "I've always had to be the man even when I was a kid, and was always put in grown man situations with so much pressure on me, and even to this day still. He sounds like a man close to his breaking point." And on Tuesday, June 7th, Deundrea went missing. PJ added Lisa on social media as the family tried to search for her.
I'm currently friends with her now because we were looking for him yesterday because he just went missing.
Okay.
So I found her on Facebook and tried to get some information to see if she knew.
How does it start?
The first person she called was my grandma, and she asked my grandma if he was at her house, and she said no. And the girlfriend said that he didn't come home Tuesday night into Wednesday, and she was looking for him and stuff, and she thought that he may have went to my grandma's house. So my grandma called me and asked if he was up there or if I heard from him.
Lisa came home from work on Tuesday to find that Deundrea wasn't there. He hadn't said anything about when or if he'd be home. Lisa, pregnant nearly to full term and with a lot on her plate, was understandably stressed out. She texted her mom about it at around 9 p.m. on June 7th. She wrote,
You think he'd just leave like this?
fretting that he'd taken some clothes with him and that he deliberately left, never to return. Heidi tried to comfort her, looking for a silver lining in the situation. She'd been concerned about her daughter's relationship for some time now, and this seemed like maybe a blessing in disguise. If this is how it's meant to happen, at least it was non-violent, she wrote. And you've been set free. Lisa replied.
I'm not seeing it that way yet.
Heidi asked, did he talk about anything going on he wanted to go to? But Lisa had no answers. She just replied,
No, we just had a weird day.
And said that she'd reacted badly to him that day. Her mom dug for more information, and Lisa said,
I broke a razor down and cut my leg because I told him I was just going to kill myself.
Why were you going to kill yourself? Her mom asked. This calm response possibly indicating it wasn't the first time she'd heard something like this from her daughter. Lisa told her,
because I just can't get it right.
If Deundrea had been spiraling, then clearly so had Lisa. The relationship was a powder keg waiting to explode. But in the end, Heidi convinced her that stressing out wouldn't help her or her baby. Eventually, Lisa went to bed, but not before taking her car out on a half-hour nighttime drive at 1:39 a.m., too anxious to sleep. The next morning, at 7:06 a.m., she texted her mom. Still no. Deundrea still hadn't come home. She went through her morning routine, washing her work clothes for her shift later, as if it was a normal day, but she felt like something was seriously wrong. She wrote,
I still feel like he'll show up, but I can't tell.
This is when she started reaching out to Deundrea's family, including his half-sister PJ. Heidi suggested you could call APD and ask if he was arrested, or ask Joe if there was anything weird on the cameras. Joe was Lisa's landlord. She did as her mom suggested and texted him.
My boyfriend didn't come home last night, and he left his phone. I was wondering if you could watch the cameras and tell me if you see him leave and what he was wearing. His family and I are really worried.
The CCTV showed that Deundrea had gone out with his uncle Marty, his dad's brother, on Tuesday evening.
The girlfriend called the landlord to their apartment because they have cameras around the apartment and stuff, and she asked the landlord if he can go back and look at the cameras and stuff to see if he saw Deundrea, which he did. It was like around 6:24 when he left the apartment, and he went with his uncle that lives in St. Louis.
Is everybody relieved at that point, or like?
Not really, because the girlfriend said that his uncle was supposed to bring him back that night, and he was supposed to call like before 10, and then it was after 10.
But he didn't come back that night. PJ went to bed early on the evening of June 8th without hearing anything else. Lisa, meanwhile, received a message out of the blue at about 8 p.m. from Deundrea's uncle, saying he was bringing Deundrea back and that everything was fine. With his uncle? That's who called anyway. Her mom replied, Where does his uncle live? And that's still across the bridge, Lisa said, and yeah, I agree. Heidi wasn't happy about the way her heavily pregnant daughter was being treated. She didn't trust Deundrea at all. She told Lisa, and of course it's your fault. That. And you better be careful so he doesn't give you something that Bean will catch. Ignoring this advice, Lisa went to pick Deundrea up. They could be seen here on CCTV, arriving back at their apartment at 9:11 p.m. While in the car, Lisa texted her mom, I'm trying to figure it out. This was the last text she'd ever sent. And this CCTV image is the last time she'd ever be pictured. At 10:49 p.m., Heidi texted, You okay? And received no reply. By then, Lisa was already dead. Over the next few hours of CCTV, various neighbors come and go. Neither Lisa nor Deundrea are seen again. Until 11:57 p.m., when Deundrea comes out. He's carrying a white laundry basket. He comes to stand next to Lisa's car without getting inside, suggesting he's forgotten the keys. He's changed his clothes, and he's now wearing dark shoes and a face covering. He goes back inside and comes out again a few minutes later, again carrying the laundry basket. He walks out of frame and towards a nearby smoke shop, around the back of which is a dumpster. CCTV from a local business displays the rest. At 1 minute past midnight, we can see the white laundry basket being thrown into the dumpster, alongside some clothes. This laundry basket, as the police will later discover, contains Lisa's head. 2 hours later, her car is missing from the parking lot. Deundrea has gone to his mother's house.
And then my sister said around 2:30 in the morning that he's like banging on the door and stuff, and he's like pacing and like acting nervous.
Where?
At my house.
This morning?
Yeah, this morning at 2:30.
PJ finds him in the bathroom at around 10 a.m. the next morning, June 9th, 3 hours before Lisa's mom will discover her daughter's body.
I seen my grandma standing in the doorway to the bathroom, and I looked, and I'm like, oh, there's Dee. And then he was cutting his hair off and stuff, and I asked him why he was cutting his hair off, and he just said a fresh start.
Okay. And what's his demeanor like?
He was, like, nervous, like, you can tell he was, like, really nervous.
Just your personal opinion, why do you think he's cutting his hair off?
Got in trouble.
Deundrea hasn't cut his hair in 2 years, and he's proud of his dreadlocks. Why would he be cutting his hair off today of all days? He asks his mom if he can take a shower and have some clothes. She gives him a change of clothes, including a pair of gray sweatpants.
Clothes that he had on, he took them outside for some reason, and then he set it by the sidewalk, and then he comes back in, and then he was...
Did you see him take those clothes off?
Yes.
So is that why because you said he didn't have a shirt to wear. So when do you see him take the clothes off?
He had a hoodie on and some pants, and then he took his shirt off, or his hoodie off when he was cutting his hair, I guess, because it was already off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he still had the pants on and stuff, and the hoodie was on the bathroom floor.
And then that's when he gets out and asks your mom for clothes?
Yeah.
And then he didn't have a shirt on, obviously?
Because he didn't want to put the same clothes back on.
Okay, what were those clothes?
I know it was a bucket hat. I think it was like blue.
You didn't see him about a hat. He had a hat on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
He had like a bucket hat on. I think it was like blue or something.
Anything about the hoodie that you recognize?
No.
What about the shirt he had on? No. So when he gets to the shower, those clothes are all in the bathroom?
Yeah.
And then that's when he gets the gray pants from your mom, and does he ask you for a shirt?
No, I just gave him one.
Because yeah. So then what does he do with the clothes?
After we got off the shower, he took them outside, put them by the sidewalk where our trash can was, and then he comes back in the house, chats for a little bit and stuff, and then my grandma was cooking breakfast, and she asked him if he wanted a plate, and he said yeah, and then that's when he went back outside, and then I guess the clothes that he had on the sidewalk, he put them in the trash, which they're in there now.
PJ was asleep when Deundrea came home that night at around 2:30 a.m., but her sister was awake.
She said that when he was banging on the door and stuff, it scared her, and she was asleep in the living room watching Netflix. Well, not asleep, but she was awake.
You 4 girls there then? Sister, mom, grandma, all there overnight?
It was me, my mom, sister, grandma, yes. Yeah. She said that she hears like really loud banging and stuff, and then she looks out, and she said she seen Dee, and then when she opened the door, she looked in the parkway, in the parking lot thing, in our driveway, and then she said that she seen a black car, and his girlfriend drives a black car.
It seems strange to Deundrea's family that he showed up driving his girlfriend's car without his girlfriend. And the suspicious signs don't end there. His grandmother notices he's got other items of Lisa's property.
He had I don't even know what his girlfriend's name is. Okay. But anyhow, he had gave me her ID in the debit card. Okay. And I said, well, why you got her debit card?
Yeah.
And license, you know. And I said, now she out there driving, and then she thinks she got her license, and you got it. Then this morning, he gave me 2 keys.
Okay.
And I said, well, where you get these keys from? And he said he found them on the ground. But he didn't say where he found them on the ground. And I said, well, give it here. I said, then I can get in touch with her.
Okay.
And
you want to put that stuff in there?
I'm going to get it back now?
This here?
Yeah.
Is that yours?
No, but I'm going to try.
Right.
I'm going to try to get it to her.
Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll take care of it.
You sure now?
Yeah.
The keys too?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Did he tell you what those keys were for?
He just told me he found them. gave it
What
to
did he
me.
say to you when you asked him why he had that stuff? He didn't get an answer?
Just look like he's in a daze or something.
Deundrea doesn't have an answer as to why he'd have Lisa's possessions. And at around midday, he leaves the house without any real word about where he's going.
He said, I'm going to cut some grass. And so she asked him, where was he going to cut grass? And he just said he's going to cut grass.
Okay. And he left on foot?
He left on foot.
It seems like Deundrea has been trying to cover his tracks. He's made himself less recognizable, changing his clothes and throwing them in the garbage. He's been carrying many of Lisa's personal belongings, which he's handed off to his grandmother to get rid of. And he's left Lisa's car parked on the street with a handwritten "for sale" sign in its window. Now he's taken off on foot. His behavior is making the truth of what happened that fateful night clearer and clearer. A truth that Lisa's mom, it seems, has known all along. She said as much on her call to 911.
My daughter's boyfriend killed her. He chopped her head off.
Heidi didn't need to catch Deundrea in the act to know what he'd done.
Are you outside the apartment right now?
Yes, yes.
What kind of a weapon does he have?
He's not here. He took her car.
Okay, the officers are coming. So you haven't heard from her boyfriend or talked to him at all?
No, I haven't.
It seems she spoke too soon when she told her daughter to be grateful things had ended safely without violence.
Even being mom, like, if you knew where he's at, would you tell me?
I would. Like, if I knew what was going on, I would tell you, but from last night of him doing the disappearing act to what's going on now, I have no clue, like, what transpired.
Are you afraid of him?
Yeah, I got an order of protection on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what prompted you to get that?
He was staying with me for a couple days, and he was becoming frightening, like he was going to do something. So I was like, you gotta go. And so when he left, he called my daughter back and was like, I love you guys, but I'm coming back to kill you.
So what actually happened inside the apartment that night between the couple walking inside at 9:11 p.m. and Deundrea coming back out just before midnight? Their downstairs neighbors have been witnesses to a lot of the violence in that relationship.
Well, the past few days they've been arguing, and that's nothing new.
Okay.
They fight, like they used to fight all the time, and it would be loud fighting, and we actually had to call the cops on them before, because I don't know who it was, but somebody picked something up and slammed it against the wall. We assumed it was one of them throwing each other.
And on the night of June 8th, they heard it all.
Last night it was different. It was like, we got home from picking me up from work. I got home from work around 9:30-ish, and their front door was cracked, which is unusual. They don't.
9:30 p.m. last
Yes.
night? Okay.
They don't usually leave their front door cracked, and it was, and that was a little weird. And I heard like muffled yelling, like not screaming, but yelling in a way, kind of like in pain, like you just like snipped your finger with a scissor and you had to put some over your mouth so you wouldn't scream too loud. That's what it sounded like.
So you said it sounded like muffled screaming?
Kind of, but it wasn't too loud.
Okay.
And then later on, we heard like the apartment shakes a little bit whenever you move too much, and it started shaking. And we're like, okay, they must be fighting or something. And we were gonna wait to see if it got better, or like if it didn't, because we were just gonna go sit outside and wait it out.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to deal with it. And so whenever that was happening, the apartment was shaking, they were fighting about something, and then all of a sudden the screaming got really, really loud and really intense. And that was, I would say, probably about 9:45, 9:50. And then the apartment had like 5 or 6 loud like thuds, and they got louder and louder each time.
Okay.
And they shook the apartment as well. And that sounded more like it was coming from...
So like, what did it sound like, experienced in life, to your best ability, that would have created or possibly created the sound that you heard?
Probably, I really don't know other than like chopping wood.
Okay.
Because that's what it felt like he had enough, I didn't mean to say he, but like, you know, that's what it sounded like there was enough time to do, was like, it was very constant beats too.
Okay.
So that's what made me think it sounded like that.
So do you think it sounded like an instrument hitting something, or do you think, or what? Something is making you know, kind of envision that through sound. You know what I mean? Like we hear something and our brain is gonna take that information in, right? What we're hearing, smelling, feeling, and we're gonna kind of like paint this mental picture, right?
Right.
So, what about that sound makes you think chopping wood?
It was more of how steady it was.
Okay.
Because when you chop wood, you know, you gotta lift it up, you gotta hold it, and then you gotta put all your weight into it, and all your muscle.
Yeah.
And when you do it, you go.
And you kind of got a rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it had like 4 or 5, 6 of those beats, and then it just stopped. The screaming stopped, the sound stopped, the shaking stopped, everything stopped.
That chopping sound, something the neighbors couldn't bring themselves to consider, was the sound of Lisa's head being cut off.
At that point, we heard somebody walk outside, but we weren't able to see because we just glanced down the window, and from the window that the awning is right there, so we can't see down on the patio deck area, and so we couldn't see who it was, but they were out there for about 2 minutes, and then they came back in, and they came upstairs, but I was too scared to see who it was.
And then what?
We went outside to see if so my best friend came over, and because I was like, hey, something's going on, I'm not feeling so right about this. And she was like, I'll come stay outside with you. So we were standing out waiting for one of them to come downstairs, because usually after they fight, one of them comes downstairs.
Okay.
Neither one of them did, but the lights upstairs in their apartment kept turning on and off.
Okay.
So we knew somebody was up there. We assumed it was Liese.
Okay.
But we didn't see either one of them.
The neighbor texted their landlord. She wrote, "Hey, I don't really know what to do. We got home, and as soon as we walked in, we started feeling thumps, and then someone started screaming for like 5 minutes straight. It stopped for a minute, then the thumping started back up. The neighbor's door upstairs was also cracked open." The landlord tried to get in touch with Lisa, but heard nothing in response. The neighbor said, "If we hear it back up again, we'll call the cops." But they didn't hear it start back up again, because it was already too late. With all of this evidence mounting up, at around 9:30 p.m. on June 9th, the police execute a search warrant on Deundrea's mother's house. In the trash can outside it, in line with PJ's statement, they find the discarded clothing he was wearing in the CCTV footage, as well as his cut-off dreadlocks wrapped in toilet paper. There's no sign of Deundrea himself. But at 1:45 a.m., the early hours of June 10th, the investigators receive a phone call from the Gillespie, Illinois Police Department. That afternoon, they took a John Doe into custody, whom they later recognized as none other than Deundrea Holloway. The Alton Police Department had been gearing up for a manhunt, but there's no need. Deundrea was arrested in possession of cannabis that afternoon in Gillespie.
You search him?
Yeah. Don't have a name.
That's okay. Look at her name.
What I have?
What's that?
What I have?
You have cannabis on you.
Oh,
That's
legal. Okay, exactly. Right.
Deundrea is restless with the officers.
Need some water or anything?
Yeah, I would like some water, because, you know, you guys gotta,
Hey, you need some water?
Yeah.
Okay, please get you some water.
Is it okay if I walk around? Is it okay if I stand up and take a step, like a couple steps?
What you gonna do? Why you gotta do that? Pull your pants up or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
That's it.
You're fine.
He's doing his job. This man has done nothing but his job, I swear to you.
You need to sit back down in the chair, please.
Didn't you just say I could pace?
No, I didn't say you could piss. I thought you said you had to be pants. If you could sit down in there, please. Thank you.
Do you mind if I piss? Is that illegal? I'm here. I'm handcuffed, ain't it?
We don't want that. We want you to sit down.
Exactly. I know you don't want that.
So if you could please sit down, guys.
I can't. I'm handcuffed.
Yeah, you can. You can sit down.
I literally can't do it. I'm handcuffed.
You need to sit down.
Why are you guys scared of me for what?
I'm not scared. You need to sit down.
How? If I'm literally sitting here pacing handcuffed, I can't do shit.
He
searched me.
Okay, so what's your name? What they're going to do is...
I literally asked if I was being detained. That man said no. And then he proceeded to ask me the same question over and over and over. And I said the same thing. And again, he's just not having it because he's got an attitude problem with me. I got an attitude problem too. I know I got one. I got one. That's why I'm not sitting down.
But you know I can make you sit down, so I'm not.
Do it.
What did I just say?
Do it. Sit me down.
I said I could.
Do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Because you're scared. Exactly. I'm handcuffed.
Scared of what?
Do it.
You know, guy, we're not going to get into this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, don't you just being mean to me now?
I'm not being mean to you.
I
said you're pacing back and forth, and you said, well, set me down. And I said I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
He's behaving manically, pacing, and repeatedly questioning the officers. At one point, he starts to laugh and bang his head against the wall.
Don't do that.
They just fucking did that to me. Come in here.
Don't do that.
Do something. That's what I'm saying. Do something. Do something. Don't do that. That's what I'm saying. Don't do that.
The cops take drastic measures to restrain him from hurting himself. They keep him on the floor as he assures them he's going to get out.
Just have my folks will come get me out.
Well, we don't know your name, so...
Exactly, but my folks will be there to get me out.
Okay. Who's your folks? I know who you're going to...
Don't worry about it.
He still refuses to tell them who he is. But it doesn't matter. The investigators from Alton come to arrest him on suspicion of Lisa's murder. They carry out a warrant for DNA, fingerprints, and other samples. And at around midday the next day, June 10th, nearly 24 hours since the discovery of Lisa's body, the investigators sit down with Deundrea for an interview. But Deundrea's not talking. He refuses to give them any information, even his name, which they already know. He just keeps saying he wants to go to work, though it's not clear if he's actually employed. He also says he's dissociated, and that he's once been prescribed medication by a doctor. After this, he asks for his lawyer, and the investigators comply, terminating the interview. On June 13th, Deundrea is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of intentional homicide of an unborn child, a human body, offenses relating to motor vehicles, and concealment of homicidal death. Bond is set to $2 million. The case leads to a lot of local emotion, including from the police chief.
What happened to 22-year-old Liese Dodd, who had just moved to this place in Alton, is beyond irreprehensible. It is completely terrible what happened to her. Her unborn child was also killed as a result of this.
Deundrea's family, however, entreat the public to take the nuances of his circumstances into account. His stepfather, Chris Hawk, takes to YouTube to talk about it on June 16th.
I never thought I would be recording a video like this. First of all, I want to offer my condolences to the Dodd family. I cannot imagine what you must be going through. I'm not going to deny that what happened was an extreme act of evil. It was. I don't know how else to explain it. It was an act of evil. I don't know if there's a word that describes it. And over here we are ashamed. His mom, his sister, were all shocked. We knew he was capable of violence, but we never saw this. We tried to get we've been trying to get help for him for at least 3 years. But as far as longer-term mental care, we were always told that we can't hold them unless they've done something.
He doesn't deny the horror of what Deundrea's done, but he attributes Deundrea's actions to his mental state, something his family has been trying to do something about for years, but he says the system wouldn't let them.
Our system fails people with mental problems. I've grown up in an environment with mental problems, and people are kind of left on their own. It's a tragic situation. This is the Dee that we knew. They're old pictures, but they show that there's a human there. The human does exist. He's not a monster. What he did was monstrous. He's not a monster. I'm not advocating that Deundrea should ever be allowed to enter civilized society again. I mean, he's obviously crossed the line there. I'm not advocating anything like that. I'm just saying there's a human being here, and it's tragic. It's tragic what mental illness has done to him.
These are the early days of the case, when Deundrea's only just been charged, and he's not doing well in jail. He's been refusing to come out of his cell and making threats to corrections officers. These included saying, "I will cut off your head." He refuses to attend his virtual court appointment on June 14th, and officers forcibly restrain him to bring him to court. These issues remain in his case. He's found mentally unfit to stand trial and undergoes treatment at a state institution until he regains competency to face the charges. At the same time, the Illinois Supreme Court rules that an unborn child cannot be considered a second murder victim for the purpose of seeking a life sentence. This impacts the sentence that can be sought in Deundrea's case. But in January 2024, he enters a guilty plea. On January 17, 2025, he is sentenced to 60 years in prison. This includes 30 years on the murder charge, 20 on the homicide charge, and 10 on the concealment charge to be served consecutively. He'll have to serve at least 52 years before he's eligible to be released. There remain no real answers as to why he killed Liese, though there's plenty of speculation out there. Jealous that she was having another man's baby, snapping under the stress of a failing relationship, or just finally going too far in a continued pattern of violence. We'll never know the truth. Liese's family, meanwhile, continues to mourn.
We're here to announce that Deundrea Holloway was convicted and sentenced in the murder of Liese Dodd and her unborn child today to 60 years in prison. And I want to introduce Heidi, Liese's mother and grandmother of the unborn daughter, to give a few words reflecting on today's verdict and sentence.
Her mom wrote to their GoFundMe page, "This sentence brings some resolution to a heinous crime. No sentence or amount of time will bring my daughter or granddaughter back, but this sentence should ensure he's not able to hurt anyone else." As I mentioned in the previous update, any donations received will be donated to our local domestic violence resource.
After a while, you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And you learn that love doesn't mean leaning, and company doesn't mean security. And you begin to learn that kisses aren't contracts, and presents aren't promises. And you begin to accept your defeats with your head up and your eyes open, with the grace of a woman, not the grief of a child. And you learn to build all your roads on today, because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans, and futures have a way of falling down in mid-flight. After a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if you get too much, so you plant your own garden and decorate your own soul, instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. And you learn that you really can endure, that you really are strong, and you really do have worth. And you learn and learn. With every goodbye, you learn. The end.